Good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to our esteemed colleagues, friends, and supporters from Israel and around the world. Welcome to Tel Aviv University's Honorary Degrees Conferment Ceremony 2025. We will now begin with the academic procession. I now invite the deans of Tel Aviv University to join us and take their seats in the front row. Please join me in welcoming Dean of the Katz Faculty of the Arts, Professor Eran Newman. Dean of the Fleischman Faculty of Engineering, Professor Noam Elias. Dean of the Raymond and Beverly Sackler Faculty of Exact Sciences, Professor Tova Milo. Dean of the Lester and Sally Enton Faculty of Humanities, Professor Gali Cinnamon. Dean of Innovation in Teaching and Learning, Professor Liat Kishon Rabin. Dean of the Goodman Faculty of Law, Professor Ishai Blank. Dean of the George S. Wise Faculty of Life Sciences, Professor Abdusalem Azem. Dean of the Collar School of Management, Professor Yael Steinhardt. Dean of the Gray Faculty of Medical and Health Sciences, Professor Karen Avraham. Dean of the Gershon H. Gordon Faculty of Social Sciences, Professor Amal Jamal. And Dean of Students, Professor Dorit Newman. Members of the Board of Governors, honorees, and distinguished guests, thank you for joining us for this year's Honorary Degrees Conferment Ceremony at Tel Aviv University's 2025 Board of Governors meeting. Before we proceed, we cannot truly celebrate until each and every one of the 58 hostages are returned home. We would like to send our prayers to their families and our prayers to their loved ones. We cannot and we will not rest until they are back. Time is running out, and the time for them to come home is now. Our lives are forever made up of fragments, single snapshots of happiness and pain, of darkness and light. We are honored to host internationally acclaimed cellist, Dr. Christina Reiko Cooper. Christina's graced many of the world's most iconic stages, and she's a member of the faculty at the Goodman Meta School of Music. Please welcome her. Thank you, Dr. Cooper, for your captivating performance, just absolutely beautiful. This evening, we honor a host of individuals, each and every one of whom was selected not only for their philanthropic endeavors, but for their unwavering commitment to the state of Israel and its people. The theme of this year's meeting is optimism. And at Tel Aviv University, optimism is having hope and confidence in our success and building a positive future. Only when we are optimistic can we truly change the world. And now, I am pleased to invite the officers of Tel Aviv University to join us and take their seats on the stage. Please welcome Tel Aviv University's President, Professor Ariel Porat, and Rector, Professor Mark Steif. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment has arrived. Let's welcome this evening's honorees with gratitude, love, and a warm round of applause. Dr. Yael Admi, Miss Dana Azrieli, Mr. Thomas Friedman, Mr. Jonathan R. Goodman, Mr. Gidon Hamburger, Mr. Yair Hamburger, Mr. Dan Holtzman, Professor Stephen Quake, Professor Miranda Schroyers, and the Israel Philharmonic Orchestra, represented by Mr. Yair Mashiach, Secretary General, and Mr. Yoni Gertner, Management Chairman. Please all now take your seats. I now invite the chairwoman of the Tel Aviv University Board of Governors, Ms. Daphna Meitar Nechmad, to address the audience.
University leadership, governors and friends, distinguished honorees and guests. Welcome, and thanks especially to our international visitors who have arrived despite the difficult security situation here. Since last year's ceremony, against the background of October 7 horrors and brutal war, I nevertheless offered a message of hope and even optimism. I was hopeful because of the immense resilience of the Israeli people and the international solidarity we were experiencing. I was optimistic that Tel Aviv University would remain central to shaping the Israel that will emerge from this war, an Israel of continued academic excellence, scientific impact, and social responsiveness. I was not wrong to feel this way. This very ceremony, with its remarkable honorees from around the world and your presence, reinforce our confidence that the university mission is nationally and internationally vital and important. Our honorees tonight reflect the spirit of optimism, excellence, and impact. Their contribution ranged from peace advocacy, the environment, the biomedical advances to philanthropy, entrepreneurship, journalism, and classical music. My own grandfather attended concert by Israel Philharmonic, the recipient tonight, and so did my parents, then me, and today my children, and even my grandson. For such a young country, this is an impressive cultural legacy and a symbol of Israel's tenacity. I was particularly happy to see that among the recipients are 3 accomplished women in civic activism, business, and science, and I would like to stress how crucial it is for society, including, or maybe especially, academia, to continue promoting gender equity. Thank you. Much has been accomplished in Israel in the area of women's rights and causes, but much still remains to be done to close the gender gap that stubbornly persists. Women continue to be underrepresented in positions of influence across politics, technology, medicine, academia, and other sectors. Representation is even lower among marginalized groups, including Ethiopian, Haredi, and Arab women. Right here at the university, while 58% of PhD students are women, only 33% make up our senior faculty. Thankfully, Tau is actively investing in its community of brilliant women through appointments, scholarships, mentoring, and alumni leadership networks. 2 of the university's 4 vice presidents and 6 of its 11 deans are women. And we are far from done. The university is launching a new campus-wide initiative to expand gender-related support and strengthen gender studies. This initiative aims to embed gender equity deeper into campus life by fostering a vibrant community of scholars, advocates, and future leaders committed to lasting change. I am also personally committed to increasing philanthropic giving through a gender lens. Tel Aviv University is proud to lead by example, identifying and addressing gender inequality at its root, and we are optimistic that our efforts will influence greater Israel society. I want to thank you all again for coming. I want to wish that next year, when the university celebrates its 70th anniversary, our students will no longer be called to fight. Our country will have begun rebuilding, and our region will be at peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daphna. I invite the president of Tel Aviv University, Professor Ariel Porat, to address the audience.
Honorees, governors, the Tel Aviv University community, dear guests. In this ceremony, we celebrate groundbreaking researchers and public figures who have contributed significantly to the world, to Israeli society, and to Tel Aviv University. You, the degree recipients, honor us with your presence and your outstanding contributions, and we are proud to bestow upon you the university's highest recognition. Our paying tribute to this distinguished group on this stage reflects the university's commitment not only to advancing knowledge, but also to its moral responsibility to society. Research and teaching are the heart of what we do, but there is another crucial element, which is the potentially harmful impact our discoveries could have on the world around us. Today, I want to talk about that impact. we are facing an age-old yet increasingly urgent need to balance between technological and scientific progress on the one hand and ethical boundaries on the other. This challenge is not new, but in our time, it feels more immediate and more daunting, calling on all of us, and especially our universities, to confront it directly. History and the present provide vivid examples of the tension I'm talking about. Nuclear power promised energy and progress, yet also threatened mass destruction. Genetic editing has tremendous potential to cure diseases, but raises ethical dilemmas around designer babies and cloning. Social networks offer remarkable platforms for knowledge sharing and free expression, but also for privacy invasion, misinformation, and threats to democracy. Artificial intelligence is accelerating research and improving quality of life, but also stirring fears of job loss, weaponization, and even machine takeover. How should society address these challenges? Many point to regulation. During their visit to this university, OpenAI leaders compared the risk of AI to nuclear weapons, suggesting regulation is the answer. But there is a problem. Regulation is inherently slow compared to the dizzying pace of technological development, and also difficult to enforce, especially for research conducted far from the public eye. So the answer cannot be regulation alone. Moral and social responsibility must also be borne by the developers and companies that bring these technologies to life. This doesn't mean imposing legal liability on a scientist whose algorithm is misused. That would have a chilling effect on research. Instead, academic institutions like ours must carry the weight of this responsibility. We need to not only drive technological development, but also address its risks critically, proactively, and with a deep sense of accountability. We are already moving in this direction here at Tel Aviv University, for example, with our Samueli Initiative for Responsible AI in Medicine and TAD Center for AI and Data Science. But this is only the beginning. Alongside our managing risk after a technology is created, we need to integrate ethical and safety considerations during development, embedding ethical and safety considerations from the start. Just as car manufacturers are responsible for safety at the production stage, technologists must be focused on mitigating harm and developing protective mechanisms for anything new they create. Universities should lead this change by establishing dedicated units, ensuring that safety and ethical foresight is part of exploration. Moral and social responsibility also applies to commercial entities that profit from these technologies. There might be room to carefully examine legal liability mechanisms that would oblige companies to bear or partly bear the costs of risks they create or damage they cause. This might be a viable solution in some cases, but great caution is needed when applying it so as not to harm incentives for innovation. Of course, governments, regulators, and even consumers have their own roles to play, much like road safety is shared among manufacturers, lawmakers, and drivers. Addressing technological risk is no different. It requires collective responsibility. These are just starting points for a much larger conversation, one that is complex, urgent, and demands ongoing reflection. Universities have a duty to lead that conversation, to ask the hard questions, and to push for responsible progress. To our honorees, thank you for your achievements and for inspiring us to think deeply about the world we are building together. You honor us with your presence today, and we are grateful for the example you set. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Porat. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we now come to the conferment of the Honorary Doctor of Philosophy degrees awarded to individuals who have made remarkable contributions to society, culture, academia, and the world at large. Let's begin with Dr. Yael Admi.
עולם מושלם זה עולם שבו ילדים יכולים לחלום ולא לפחד אם הם יוכלו להגשים את החלומות שלהם. חשוב לי להבחין בין תקווה ובין אופטימיות. אופטימיות זה איזושהי יכולת מבורכת אולי של אנשים להביט קדימה ולהגיד יהיה בסדר. איך בדיוק זה יקרה, מתי זה יקרה, פחות מעניין. אני במקום אחר. התקווה באה ממקום של חסר, ממקום של תחושת ניכור, מזעם, מכעס נורא על מה שקורה, שממנו נובעת זעקה ומחויבות עמוקה להוביל שינוי. זה עצוב להגיד, אבל מלחמות מביאות שלום. כי דווקא מתוך המלחמות אתה מוצא את הנאמנות העמוקה לרצון לגדל פה ילדים שיחיו, והנאמנות הזאת מחייבת פעולה. היא מחייבת תפיסת עולם רחבה יותר, שרואה את המורכבות ומוצאת פתרונות ויוזמת פתרונות.
סכסוכים גדולים ומרים בעולם נפתרו, וזה יכול לקרות גם כאן.
היכולת של נשים משני הצדדים, בתנאים הכל כך קשים האלה, להמשיך ולהעצים את השותפות, ולהגיע לכל מקום בעולם, ולהגיע לכל פינה בארץ. זה היה תפקיד עצום שלקחנו על עצמנו, ואנחנו נושאות אותו עכשיו בתחושת אחריות ומחויבות עמוקה, במיוחד עכשיו.
I ask Professor Ariel Porat and Professor Mark Steif to please come to center stage and invite Dr. Yael Admi to come forward. In recognition of her exceptional contribution to peace, women's empowerment, and cross-cultural dialogue, her courage in drawing on her own personal grief to co-found Women Wage Peace as a means of breaking the cycle of bereavement, building trust, and strengthening grassroots peace advocacy. Her uncompromising belief in the power of women to facilitate a just and lasting peace. Her successful high-tech career as a software engineer and development executive. Her altruism in donating her time and expertise at leading NGOs for conflict resolution. And her unwavering dedication spanning decades to advancing a better and more secure future for Israelis and their Palestinian neighbors. By conferring upon her the degree of Doctor Philosophia Honoris Causa of Tel Aviv University. Thank you, Dr. Admi. You may now all return to your seats. And now, Ms. Dana Azrieli.
First and foremost, what drives me is the overarching sense that I am part of the Zionist dream, and that by moving to Israel and raising a family here and playing such a significant part in building the Israeli economy, providing jobs, and influencing tens of thousands of people through my work, that I am making a real difference to the people of Israel. And I understand that building Israel means building trust between my management and our customers, and I take this responsibility very seriously. But my most urgent matter today is the polarization in Israeli society. We are liberal in the true sense of the word, which means we have tolerance for all opinions and aspire to have a country where people are different and know how to live side by side with each other. The Azrieli Foundation's support for the School of Architecture is a symbol of the legacy of my father, David Azrieli, who was committed to architecture, and in particular to Israeli architecture. Personally, I think that architecture is an opportunity to learn about tolerance. Spaces, urban planning, and design, they all really encompass so many social subtexts. And if we can educate planners and designers to use spaces for people to come together to find a common good and common ground, I think we're heading in the right direction.
I asked Professor Ariel Porat and Professor Mark Steif to come to center stage, and I invite Ms. Dana Azrieli to come forward with them. In recognition of her visionary leadership as a successful businesswoman, her exemplary transformation of the Azrieli Group into a global real estate company, her distinguished track record of philanthropic leadership both individually and as a member of the Azrieli Foundation, in championing important causes, including social cohesion, environmental protection, healthcare, and improved educational opportunity in Israel's periphery. Her dedication to strengthening Israeli society and Jewish identity, and to building bridges between Israel and Jewish communities around the world. And, in particular, her continuing the legacy of her late father's unwavering commitment toward Tel Aviv University, as expressed by her steadfast devotion to the betterment of the Azrieli School of Architecture, and by her family's dedication to shaping the next generation of architects who will help design and build Israel's future, by conferring upon her the degree of Dr. Philosophia Honoris Causa of Tel Aviv University. Thank you, Dana Azrieli. Up next, Mr. Thomas Friedman.
I live by the motto of Marie Curie that now is the time to understand more so we may fear less. I write for several reasons. The first and most important reason I write is I write to learn. That's how I learn, is actually by writing. I literally write my books by starting and writing my books, and then I iterate. I think of myself as having a block of granite, and I'm chipping away, and then I see an elbow and a knuckle and then an ear, and I chip away a little bit more. The second reason I write is I write to teach. You know, last week, I woke up actually at 3 in the morning and had a column idea. And when that happens, I actually get out of bed and write it up. I wait for my editors to wake up around 8 o'clock, send it up to them, they like it, they get a copy editor and a fact checker, and it's shared with the world, with, tens of millions of people by 1 in the afternoon. Now, to be in your bed at 3 in the morning, have an idea, and then be able to share it with the world that way, that is the most fun you can have legally that I know of. To put this in American baseball terms, I call balls and strikes. I'm not afraid to write something today that is sympathetic to President Trump if I believe he's doing the right thing. And I'm not afraid to hammer him on something if I think he's doing the wrong thing. Whether I'm working in the Arab world or Israel, what everyone knows about me is that I care. I really care about these people because I have friends all over. And my dream is my Arab friends and Israeli friends and Lebanese friends will one day all be able to be together. What's important to me about getting this honorary doctorate from Tel Aviv University is both the time and the place. We're at a time where democracy is being challenged. The rule of law is being challenged in both America and Israel, by the way, and 2 countries I happen to feel very strongly about. And to me, Tel Aviv University is an engine and a bulwark for an Israel that is a light unto the nations, an Israel that is Jewish and democratic. So that's the time. I want to affirm that. I want to affirm the university and its mission by accepting this honor. Democracy is on the line, and this is what I came for. This is why you become a journalist, to defend the most important principles of democracy and the rule of law. I'm in the fight, and I'm not tired.
I invite Mr. Thomas Friedman to now come forward. In recognition of his illustrious career spanning more than 4 decades as a celebrated journalist, political commentator, and author, his immense contribution to shaping geopolitical discourse through his work on foreign policy and economic trends, which has garnered him a range of accolades, including 3 Pulitzer Prizes. His eloquent, broad-ranging, and insightful analysis of current affairs, which has influenced leaders and scholars alike. His unique impact in enabling Western audiences to grasp the complexities of Middle Eastern politics, conflicts, and culture. And his warm connection with and friendship toward Israel for over 50 years by conferring upon him the degree of Doctor Philosophia Honoris Causa of Tel Aviv University. Thank you, Thomas Friedman. You may all now be seated. To pursue knowledge, to seek the truth, to give and to give back. This is how our honorees build a better and stronger world. Let's welcome Cast DA Company from Dance Academy.
Brave, inspire,
courageous, curious,
passionate,
creative, open-minded,
dream, educate,
determined, resilient, observation,
generous, charitable, encourage, explore, breakthrough. Stand out.
shake the world.
Be the change.
Our thanks to the magnificent cast DA Company from Dance Academy for their beautiful performance. Up next, Mr. Jonathan Goodman.
My mother, Rosalind Goodman, of blessed memory, used to say, "We're not put on this earth just to take up space." I live tikkun olam. When I was 20, I had cancer. When I was 44, I suffered from a traumatic brain injury caused by a cycling accident. This is the only life we get. We have to make each day count, and we have to make a difference. Excellence in education has always been our people's solution to adversity. It is for this reason that I worked with Sylvan Adams and the Azrieli family to build a state-of-the-art Jewish school in Montreal. It is also the reason why I have worked so tirelessly raising critical funds to support scholarships for Israelis of Ethiopian descent. People tend to think that only rich people can donate, but everyone has something to offer. Everyone can contribute to leaving this world a better place. I love being a Canadian Jew. We are raised to question and challenge everything. It is for this reason that despite being under 1% of the world's population, Jews represent close to 1/3 of the Nobel Prizes. After October 7th, our people learned how few friends we have in this world and how blessed we are to have a homeland. I teach an undergraduate McGill University course on happiness. The elevator pitch on this course is that happiness comes from having supportive friends, a loving family, and living for a higher purpose. This is why Israel consistently ranks among the top 5 happiest countries in the world, because Israelis live for a higher purpose.
I invite Mr. Jonathan R. Goodman to step forward. In recognition of his significant contribution to the pharmaceutical industry as an innovator and entrepreneur, his track record in co-founding and successfully leading 2 publicly traded companies, as well as serving on the board of directors of numerous others, his dedication to perpetuating the legacy of his parents through the Morris and Rosalind Goodman Family Foundation, which supports important causes including Jewish education, cancer research, and higher education. His visionary commitment to enhancing opportunity and social mobility among young people of Ethiopian descent, most recently through a major initiative at Tel Aviv University. His engaged leadership of the Montreal Jewish community from a young age, and dedication to supporting Jewish continuity and combating anti-Semitism. And his deep and abiding friendship toward Israel spanning decades by conferring upon him the degree of Dr. Philosophia Honoris Causa of Tel Aviv University. Thank you, Jonathan Goodman. Up next, we have Mr. Gidon Hamburger and Mr. Yair Hamburger.
דוד בן גוריון אמר שלעשות עסקים במדינת ישראל אתה חייב להיות אופטימי. אתה חייב להישאר אופטימי, מכיוון שבסוף אין לנו ארץ אחרת. אני מאמין גדול בלחלום בגדול ולהצליח בגדול. ואני רואה אנשים שעשו עסקים יש מאין, עם ערכים גבוהים מאוד, באים מהפריפריה, מדימוניה, משדרות, מנתיבות, חבר'ה מדהימים, ואני מאוד מאוד אופטימי לגבי היכולות שלהם.
בשנות ה-60 וה-70, הרבה מאוד מהפילנתרופיה באו מיהודים בתפוצות. ישראל ב-20 שנה האחרונות משגשגת בגלל ההייטק. עכשיו יש גם כן פילנתרופיה מצד ישראלים, וזה חשוב מאוד. הייתי מצפה מהדור הצעיר להשקיע את מיטב כספם בישראל, וכמובן גם בפילנתרופיה.
אני כן רואה את אנשי העסקים כאלה שאולי חייבים לעשות את השינוי פה. מכאן שאנחנו חייבים לחזור ולהקים מחדש את החזון הציוני הזה, מכאן שהוא נפגע קשות, אבל אני מאוד מאוד מאמין בעם הזה.
אני בטוח שאנחנו נגיע להישגים נוספים בזכות אותו נוער נהדר שיש לנו.
כשאני רואה את הצעירים האלה שלחמו ולוחמים עד היום, כשחשבתי שהם, חוץ מאשר משחקי טיק טוק ופיפה, לא יודעים שום דבר, אני פשוט מבין שאי אפשר לעם הזה. ומשם גם יצא דור המנהיגות שצריך להנהיג את העם הזה.
I invite Mr. Gidon Hamburger and Mr. Yair Hamburger to step forward. Mr. Gidon Hamburger. In recognition of his achievements as an esteemed business leader and philanthropist, his expert, decades-long contribution to Israel's insurance industry, including in his current role as president of the Harel Insurance and Finance Group. His championing, together with his wife Hannah, of higher education in Israel over decades, most recently at Tel Aviv University. And his visionary establishment, together with his brother Yair, of the Harel Center for Capital Markets Research and the Harel Institute for Actuarial Innovation at Tel Aviv University's Collar School of Management, by conferring upon him the degree of Doctor Philosophia Honoris Causa of Tel Aviv University. Mr. Yair Hamburger, in recognition of his distinguished leadership over 5 decades of a diverse range of companies, including as chairman of the board of Harel Insurance and Finance Group. His impressive public service record in roles including chairman of the advisory board of the Israel Center on Addiction and board member of the Israel Philharmonic Orchestra. His commitment to strengthening Israeli society through his support for a wide range of social and educational initiatives, and his visionary establishment, together with his brother Gidon, of the Harel Center for Capital Markets Research and the Harel Institute for Actuarial Innovation at Tel Aviv University's Collar School of Management, by conferring upon him the degree of Doctor Philosophia Honoris Causa of Tel Aviv University. Thank you, Gidon and Yair. You ran back to those seats very quickly. All right. Up next, Mr. Dan Holtzman.
I was raised with strong values around community and responsibility. Giving back has always felt natural to me. It's not a duty, it's a privilege. Staying close to your core values while being flexible in your approach is essential. I believe in supporting projects and businesses that aim for sustainability, not just environmentally, but socially and economically. Before everything, I believe in young people and their plans and dreams. My vision to empower young people to dream big and act boldly has always been there. Education and health are central to my philanthropic focus. I believe in breaking cycles, whether of poverty, illness, or lack of access. Moving forward, I aim to support innovative models that create lasting change, especially for children and youth. I want students to know they're not alone in this journey. Even before looking at Israel as a business person or investor, I invested emotionally into Israel. I speak Hebrew at home with my parents. That means that at least every day I think about Israel once, and it's very close to my heart. The most important for me is that you lead with purpose. You need a strong why. The how becomes clearer later. Don't chase success, build something meaningful. Surround yourself with good people, and remember that real success is measured by the lives you touch.
I invite Mr. Dan Holtzman to step forward. In recognition of his accomplishments over 3 decades as a pioneering businessman, investor, and philanthropist, his entrepreneurial prowess in founding an eclectic range of successful companies in areas ranging from property development and sports management to AI-driven cosmetics, his benevolent support of over 50 charities worldwide through the Holtzman Foundation, with a particular emphasis on educational initiatives, and his dedication to nurturing the next generation of Israeli innovators through his establishment at Tel Aviv University of the Dan Launchpad for Startups, which is helping to bolster Israel's startup ecosystem. By conferring upon him the degree of Doctor of Philosophia Honoris Causa of Tel Aviv University. Thank you, Dan Holtzman. Let's now welcome Quinta and a half.
I can change the world. I would be the sunlight in your universe. You would think my love was really something good, baby, if I could change the world. If I could reach the stars, I'd pull one down for you, shine it on my heart, so you could see the truth, that this love I have inside is everything it seems. But for now I find it's only in my dreams. Change the world. I would be the sunlight in your universe. You would think my love was really something good, baby, if I could change the world. If I could be king, even for a day, I'll take you as my queen. I'll have it no other way. And our love will rule in this kingdom we have made. Till then I'd be a fool, wishing for the day that I can change the world. I would be the sunlight in your universe. You would think my love was really something good, baby, if I could change the world. If I could change the world, if I could change the world.
Thank you, Quinta and a half. This evening, we thank each and every one of our honorary degree laureates for their part in changing our world for the better. May all of our children be given the opportunity to grow up in a world of equality, inclusion, respect, and giving. Up next is Professor Stephen Quake.
The thrill of discovery never goes away. It just, once you've had a taste of that, it keeps you going over and over again. It never gets old. And it's just such an amazing feeling to peek or a window into how the world works. That's an addictive feeling. One of the most exciting moments in my career and emotional was seeing the work we developed on non-invasive diagnostics for pregnancy make it into the clinic and be used as a test on actual pregnant women, which has saved many lives, and it's been an amazing journey to be part of that. That work began when I became a parent, and my wife and I, an unborn daughter, went through amniocentesis, and I was just amazed by this notion that you would risk the life of your unborn child to do a diagnostic test. Just amazed at the number of times I meet someone for the first time and they say, "Oh my gosh, thanks for your test. It's really important for my life." Journey of science is one that involves, difficulty, frustration. That makes the successes all the sweeter. There's been many cases where I've just missed ideas or been down wrong paths for a long time, or worked really hard for many years on things that just didn't work out and succeed. That's part of science. You have to have a sort of tolerance for failure. The next big breakthroughs in applying genomics to personalized medicine are going to come from insights and applications from the cell atlases we've built. The tools of genomics have been put to use well beyond genome sequencing and used to analyze the molecular makeup of cells, and we're learning many, many things about human biology that are going to have tremendous impact on human health going forward.
I now invite Professor Stephen Quake to come forward. In recognition of his seminal contribution as a scientist, inventor, and entrepreneur. His paradigm-changing work at the crossroads of materials science, biology, genomics, bioengineering, and biotechnology, which has fundamentally transformed contemporary medicine and biology. His development of microfluidic large-scale integration, thereby revolutionizing biological measurements and enabling scientists to efficiently isolate individual cells and decipher their genetic code. His groundbreaking methods that have made medical testing safer by replacing invasive procedures with simple blood tests. His impact as a teacher and mentor for a new generation of researchers, many of whom are today renowned scientists in their own right, including here in Israel. And his warm friendship toward Israeli academia in general and Tel Aviv University scientists in particular, by conferring upon him the degree of Doctor Philosophia Honoris Causa of Tel Aviv University. Thank you, Professor Quake. You may all now kindly take your seats. And now, Professor Miranda Schroyers.
I guess I would be really happy if environmental protection were just part of our everyday cultural understanding, where we don't even have to think about it, we just do it. I think I have put thousands of young people into the world who know more about environmental protection and the steps that can be taken to promote it. I can also be proud that I have been able to influence policy decisions that perhaps have also made a change and taken us a step in the right direction to reduce some of those greenhouse gas emissions and to protect our green spaces. Renewable energies have become so cheap now. That's where the future lies. It's not in the fossil fuels, but this is a transition that will take time, and it's a transition that will require a lot of push and regulatory support so that it can happen in a time frame that prevents the very expensive costs we can expect to come to us because of climate change. It means that we all need to do much more, but we can do much more. We're going to have to think about where the world goes in the next years. Environment is an area around which we can build cooperation. We're going to need to think about how to bring people together. And environment is an area that can promote international understanding and cooperation. No country will be successful in the future if they don't find ways to link environmental protection into the ways we do our businesses and the way we live our lives. That's the future, so invest in it.
Professor Miranda Schroyers, please step forward. In recognition of her remarkable achievements as a political scientist and renowned environmental policy expert, her influential cross-disciplinary research and professional work in environmental policy and sustainable energy transition, her key role in bridging gaps in climate governance between Europe, North America, and Asia, her mentoring of a new generation of sustainability researchers, many of whom are now making their own unique mark in diverse spheres, her determination to engage with the public on the urgency of climate action, and her warm collaborative ties with Israeli scholars, including those right here at Tel Aviv University, by conferring upon her the degree of Doctor Philosophia Honoris Causa of Tel Aviv University. Thank you, Professor Schroyers. Thank you to all of our nominees. And now, I am honored to invite Tel Aviv University Rector, Professor Mark Steif, to address the audience. Professor Steif.
Ladies and gentlemen, faculty members, esteemed guests, and most importantly, recipients of the honorary doctorate. To you, the honorees, I extend my deepest thanks for your contributions in the fields of science, journalism, entrepreneurship, women's rights, philanthropy, and more, and for the inspiration you bring to all of us. We are honored and proud to confer upon you this honorary title. More power to you. Thank you. In a few months, not a few moments, but in a few months, I will complete my term as rector of Tel Aviv University. After 5 particularly fascinating and challenging years. I do not exaggerate when I say that these were 5 not so easy years. Years that demanded from us not only hard work, but also risk-taking, flexible thinking, and deep faith in the academic mission. My term began just months after the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic and continued straight into the horrors of October 7th and the longest war the country has ever known. In between, we have also been living through one of the most severe social rifts in the history of Israeli society, a rift in which even the mere attempt of mediation is perceived by many as heresy. My colleagues and I were entrusted with the task of ensuring the continuation of research, teaching, and academic life under these trying and abnormal circumstances. During COVID, we worked to safeguard the campus community, find emergency solutions for teaching and exams, and maintain a sense of community even from a distance. During wartime, we mobilized every possible resource to support the academic needs of our students and faculty serving in the IDF reserves. And in between, we strove to maintain unity, stability, and ethical conduct on campus in a country torn by polarization and turmoil. Today, I can say that I am proud of how we collectively rose to meet these challenges. With the help of many devoted individuals, the university did not freeze in its tracks. It moved forward, it led, it built. Yet, when I raise my gaze above the immediate crises, what I see is the exact same strategic challenge that stood before me when I began my term 5 years ago. The relentless surge of information technologies and their sweeping impact on higher education. But what was once a rising tide has steadily grown in force and scale, accelerating, expanding, and reshaping much of the landscape around us. What are those information technologies? Virtually every aspect of our digital lives, from personal computers and communication infrastructure to the internet and social media, YouTube, online courses, global knowledge databases, and to the most radical game changer of all, artificial intelligence. These have become the pillars of how we think, learn, work, and understand our place in the world. My own profession is communication technology. And as someone who has dedicated most of his professional life to the very infrastructure that made all of this possible, I keenly feel the magnitude of the moment and the ethical challenges that it presents, as President Porat mentioned in his speech. But this wave of transformation is not only a disruption, it also opens new horizons. It enables personalized learning, unprecedented access to knowledge, and opportunities for cross-disciplinary connections. And we have not been standing on the sidelines. During my term, we launched significant initiatives, from creating innovative teaching platforms to integrating AI-based tools in research and education. We worked hard, and we have made great progress, but we must not make the mistake of thinking that the job is done. Because this revolution is inherently different from all previous transformations. It is not just broad and all-inclusive, it is accelerating. Each breakthrough sets the stage for the next, creating a compounding, dynamic, exponential process. And those who fail to adapt at this pace fall behind. Even in the business world, once dominant names like Xerox, Kodak, and Yahoo were overtaken by the likes of Google, Amazon, and Netflix, who rewrote the rules of the game. Universities are not immune to a similar fate. We can either be the force clinging to the old or the engine leading the new. I believe with all my heart that we can turn this challenge into an opportunity. We can strengthen teaching, deepen research, and expand our impact precisely through the new tools being born around us. But only if we know how to embrace them, understand them, and continually adapt ourselves. I hope and believe that our university will continue to walk the path of innovation, openness, and progress. I hope and believe that it will continue to uphold the all-important principles of academic freedom, freedom of speech, and tolerance, especially at this time when these values are under attack and seem more fragile than ever. To the new rector, who will take office in October, I extend my best wishes for success. Your task will not be easy, but I can assure you that it will be important and full of meaning. I have no doubt that you will take Tel Aviv University forward with courage and wisdom. Finally, let me express my heartfelt wish for the release of all 58 hostages and for the quick and favorable end to the current war. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Steif. It's known as the cornerstone of Israeli culture and for being considered the senior musical ambassador of the State of Israel around the world for almost 9 decades. The Israel Philharmonic Orchestra, known as the IPO, has earned its position of honor amongst leading international orchestras. And tonight, we are honored to welcome not one, but 2 prestigious string quartets. The first comprises graduates of the Goodman Meta School of Music who currently play in the IPO and are also members of the recently founded IPO Orchestral Academy, an international initiative that enables exceptional young performers from around the world to combine high-level practical experience in IPO projects with individual tuition and career development monitoring. The second quartet brings together current students at the Goodman Meta School of Music. Together, they will perform Mendelssohn's Octet for Strings, Opus 20, a highly appropriate choice as it represents the intergenerational and interorganizational collaboration between musicians from both TAU and the IPO.
It is the flagship of the nation, culturally speaking. Israel Philharmonic bears the responsibility of showing that side of Israel to the whole world.
Thank you. That was a truly, truly incredible performance. Absolutely amazing. It is now time to award this year's Honorary Fellowship. I invite Tel Aviv University President, Professor Ariel Porat, and Chairwoman of the Board of Governors, Ms. Dafna Meitar Nechmad, to come forward to present this prestigious award to the Israel Philharmonic Orchestra. On behalf of the Israel Philharmonic Orchestra, I invite Mr. Yair Mashiach, Secretary General, and Mr. Yoni Gerdner, Management Chairman, to please come forward to accept the Honorary Fellowship. In recognition of its enduring contribution over almost 90 years to Israeli arts and culture as the country's national orchestral ensemble, its success in fulfilling its historic mission to provide an artistic home for Jewish musicians from Europe fleeing the Nazi threat, its wide international acclaim reflected by its roster of performances and collaborations with the world's top conductors, soloists, and orchestras, its outstanding efforts to connect new audiences across Israeli society to symphonic music, its cherished, decades-long partnership with Tel Aviv University's Goodman Meta School of Music in training new generations of outstanding musicians as players for the IPO and other leading orchestras in Israel and across the globe, and its vital role in endearing people around the world to Israel's vibrant art scene and original Israeli music as the country's preeminent cultural ambassador, by conferring upon it an honorary fellowship of Tel Aviv University. Thank you, Mr. Yair Mashiach, Mr. Yoni Gerdner, Professor Ariel Porat, and Ms. Dafna Meitar Nechmad. It is now my honor to invite Professor Stephen Quake to address the audience on behalf of all of this evening's honorees. Professor Quake, please come forward.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here. What an amazing evening. I'm so blown away. President Porat, distinguished faculty, fellow honorees, and honored guests, I think we're all deeply humbled today. And on behalf of all my fellow degree recipients, I extend our profound gratitude for this recognition and thank Tel Aviv University. A little bit about myself. This morning I was able to attend the governor's meeting, and I found the video about the Periphery program particularly moving because my own family's story reflects the spirit of the program. I'm the son of a World War II refugee whose family immigrated to the United States when she was a young girl, and both of my parents were first-generation college students. They grew up on farms in rural areas and were the first in their families to get college degrees. Their educations enabled them to build prosperous lives, in turn inculcating the value of higher education in both my brother and myself. And for me, that grew into a rewarding career in science. My scientific journey has taught me several things. And I think one of the most important is the power of asking the question, I wonder. This is something we all do as children, but it becomes less and less frequent as adults. And having a sense of wonder is a crucial, inspiring force in science. Wondering about whether we can see DNA molecules and measure their forces, which is how I began my career. Wondering whether it's possible to build instruments that will sequence genomes based on seeing those DNA molecules, which is what led me to becoming one of the first people in the world to see their own genome. And wondering whether we have to accept medicine as it is now or whether we can do better for patients. And that last question has taken me down many paths, and you heard about some of them in the video, which was amazing, by the way. You guys went so deep into the archive, even finding pictures when I had hair. So thank you for that. But I won't recapitulate them all, but those experiences together have taught me that revolution happens not when we follow established paths, but when we dare to ask, why not a different way? This question and this refusal to accept limitations is what really drives innovation in our world. And this is what I love so much about Israel. It has a disproportionate number of people committed to questioning, to challenging the status quo, and to seeking solutions where others only see problems. It's a society of pioneers, whether through building a thriving nation in the desert or pushing the boundaries of what's scientifically possible. The world needs this spirit now more than ever. It needs perspectives that challenge assumptions and determination to pursue solutions where others only see obstacles. In our era, the fundamental values that universities like Tel Aviv University uphold have become increasingly precious commodities. At a time when misinformation spreads at unprecedented speed, our academic institutions stand as bastions of scholarship, reason, and evidence-based thinking. They are the guardians of free inquiry in a world too often swayed by emotional appeals rather than facts and knowledge. Universities remind us that truth matters, that careful methodology matters, that peer review and rigorous debate matter. And these values aren't merely academic traditions, they're essential pillars of functioning democracies and free societies. I'm proud to be part of that tradition, I hope you are too. As we accept these honors, let's acknowledge that our individual achievements rest upon the foundation of institutions of higher education like Tel Aviv University, places that nurture the free exchange of ideas and protect the sanctity of evidence-based discourse. And to my fellow honorees, may we continue to ask the audacious questions, to pursue the unlikely paths, and to uphold the values of scholarship and reason that unite our academic traditions across continents. Thank you, and Torah to Tel Aviv University for this profound honor.
Thank you, Professor Quake, for your kind words on behalf of our esteemed group of honorees. Now, before this tremendous evening comes to a close, let us all join together in singing our national anthem, Hatikva.
כל עוד בלבב פנימה נפש יהודי הומיה ולפתי מזרח קדימה עין לציון תופיע עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים.
Please be seated now. May this message of hope now more than ever be instilled in the people of Israel today and in the days that follow. This concludes this evening's ceremony. Thank you all so much for joining us. You're now invited to dessert reception in the plaza outside of the auditorium, and we wish you all a lovely evening. Thank you.